you, boys? How many pints have you guys had already?
This will be number 3.
We'll better get through this, man.
It'll be number 1.5.
That's fine.
So.
How you all doing? I am Scottish Andy. This is the Music Militia, and today I am sitting down. I'm here in London, in a basement in London. You guys are not going to do anything nasty to me, are you, down here in the basement?
Well,
If you promise,
you ask us nicely, maybe.
Okay, right. Well, fingers crossed, guys. This video does get published, okay? And I am alive and well in Sweden again in a few days. Anyway, we are sitting down with Fracture Point, everybody. Boys, how you doing?
Yeah, all good.
All
right,
good.
well, I say all good. He's giving us the lurgies, so we're a bit sniffly today. So apologies if it sounds a bit crap when we talk.
You all sound crap to me when you talk. Anyway.
It's a Scottish English thing, isn't it?
It is. I was born with the accent. I don't. You guys were born with talent, I guess. Yeah.
In London.
Before we even get started, okay, I have a question, and I'm almost certain that everybody that listens to the band is going to ask the same question. Fracture Point UK. What's the deal, man?
So we had the name. What was it? About 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
17. Yeah. And then it turned out a few months later, there was already an American band with the same name.
But they're defunct.
Yeah. So they did message us about it, but they were
they were moaning in case of the royalties for them got sent to us.
Yeah. I mean, they had like stuff that was already on Apple Music and Spotify. And so there was a bit of a thing where when our stuff was on there, it was all going under the same artist. So I just had to do some jiggery pokery
and we were.
do some jiggery pokery to separate it. So yeah, that's hence why we put Fracture Point UK on like the official stuff. But
because when you Google Fracture Point, you guys aren't the first one that comes up.
No,
as you guys said. So it's gets a little bit confusing. And even when I've been writing Fracture Point, I've never known what to write. So there we go. Basically, there's another band that is defunct. Yep. You're the one and only in existence right now. Awesome, yeah. I have the same problem. You know, heavy metal hiker. I'm not the only one. Just don't tell anyone, okay? I'm the best one. I'm the best one. That's all.
We need to know, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like we're all about the same age.
Yep.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
So I think let's. Okay, we've got one exception there.
There's always one exception.
Yeah.
It's just I dyed my beard. So
are you the old man in the group then?
Yeah, I am the very old man. I'm actually closer to the ages of
retirement.
Not that far. I'm probably closer to Metallica's age than I am to these guys.
But that's like Motley Crue, isn't it? What was it? Mick, what's his name? The guitarist. Yeah, he was much older, wasn't he?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Older. He's the one with the talent as well, of course.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
We just sort of jumped along and hoped for the best. Especially me.
My thought was anyway we'll go back, we're all sitting around the class with just like the first day of school, okay? Let's go around and introduce ourselves, yeah? So we'll start from this end of the room. Who are you? What do you do in the band? Drink beer.
Hello, I'm Sean. I'm the vocalist and like main lyricist. And yeah, I'm the shouty man.
The guy that likes to shout.
Indeed, yeah.
You do a good job of it as well.
Oh,
just throwing that out there, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Somebody has to. I'm James. I hit things really, really hard.
And he's like an overexcited.
Oh, he's also a drummer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Adam. I'm the clown or bassist of the band.
And Barry keeps looking like.
And he's the one with the good hair as well.
Yeah,
that's what.
And I'm Aidan, and I play guitar and do most of the songwriting.
Guitar and most of the songwriting.
Yeah, well, all the songwriting.
All the songwriting.
All of the riffs.
Yeah.
Riff Master General.
And of course, we have to throw it out there. Okay, Sean is the guy with the good surname, so I just like to congratulate that one, man. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it kind of goes. There is. Well, it's mainly Irish, but there are some Scottish roots that go like back to like the 10th century. So.
We all look down on you guys anyway. It's all right. Anyway,
McWoodman, McRogers, McLewis.
I feel like if you guys were to rename all the surnames, do a Mick in front of it, you guys are going to be much more successful. I promise you.
Fracture McPoint.
Fracture McPoint. Fracture McPoint.
It sounds hard already, doesn't it?
It does sound pretty hard. It's hard to say and it's hard to get in your mouth. Hard to get out of your mouth as well.
We'll edit that bit out.
Yeah.
No.
Just cover your ears, darling.
Double entendres.
Yeah.
Where do you all come from in terms of your musical experience? Have you played in previous bands? We'll start with the guy with the good surname, Sean. Previous experience before Fracture Point?
Previous experience, not much to be honest with you. I was in a Slayer covers band for a number of years, which at first started out as kind of like oh, do you want to just jump on and see what you can do? Because I can't play actual real instruments. So I thought I'd just give it a go. I did a bit of singing back in school, but like, hasn't really carried over much. But yeah, and I just sort of went from there, and they thought it was good. And then as the years have gone on, and obviously I've known these guys for a long time and yourself since like 2016, 2017. And it was actually at an Anthrax gig, and we were both pretty pissed at the time. I mean,
Pissed out of our heads.
and he goes, "Oi, you want to do some originals?" I was like, "Oh, okay then." I've never done originals before, so yeah, that's kind of my backstory to how we got in the band, and then that's how I met Aidan, and I've known Adam for donkey's years since college. Ironically, actually, in the Slayer covers band, was in that with his brother. So there's always been like a connection between like his family with like music.
He decided his brother wasn't good enough.
Exactly. Sorry, kid. Sorry.
Jamesy boy, Mr. Woodman.
Yeah.
Your previous experience before Fracture Point.
Women's casting.
No. Yeah, I've been in various bands since I was sort of 17, 18, covering stuff from post-grunge to stonery stuff. And everything a bit in between, really. And finally settled down with these guys.
He was in Virus for a bit.
I was in Virus for
With
very short time.
And then it was Fracture Point.
And then it was
from that point
Fracture Point,
onwards. Yep.
We're not going to mention the other band, are we?
What was the other band? Now I want to know about the other band.
No, well, us three were in another band.
Before Fracture Point.
Which led to this.
Yeah, it's kind of like Fracture Point came out of the embers.
The Ashes.
Yeah, that's
The Ashes of the
Yeah.
it, yeah. But anyway, yeah, Adam, you go.
Adam.
Yeah, man, I know. Well,
He's done nothing, basically.
he wanted to start several bands, but yeah, always had the trouble with either finding the singer or the drummer. And we did have one gig lined up, and it was an acoustic gig, and I completely forgot about the date.
You never done that?
A family barbecue, and then get a message from mates going, "Whereabouts are you?" It's like, I thought it was next week. It's like, oh, bollocks. Sorry, dude.
He did that to us when we were in the studio.
You might not be the basis for much longer, man.
Where'd you do that go?
It was an I made.
It was that download.
Yeah, it was a download. Yeah. We booked the studio to record, and he goes, "Oh shit, I'm the download." Like,
yeah. I forgot that.
So it's amazing if you do any fucking gigs at all.
The way forward is to have.
Needed that day anyway. It's fine.
What you guys need, you know, when you go to the theatre, as I said, we're going to theatre later, you know, they have understudies. You guys probably need an understudy bassist.
It's just as well, he's a bass player.
They're not that important.
Drummer, a guitarist, and a vocalist would be in the shit.
You just tune down a little bit, and it will sound like that.
Or you do the last and go, drop it 9 dB. Make it barely audible.
Aidan, your previous experience. You're the old man, so you must have had a lot more experience.
Yeah, I've been playing since I was like, well, on and off. I started playing music when I was about 15, and then basically just been in shed loads of bands. And then I actually stopped playing in 1995, and literally.
That's 5 years old.
I literally didn't play guitar for probably about 10 years, busy raising a family and everything. And then it's like my missus at the time says, "Why don't you start playing guitar again?" I went, "No, because it's going to become an obsession." And I thought, "Oh, I'll just give it a go. I'll just buy one, then two turns into three, and then three turns into 14."
Yeah, at least you know if the cost of heating goes up any more in the UK, you've got a little bit of backup cash.
Yeah.
For all the guitars, man.
So he gets a grant for it anyway.
I don't live in the UK, but I'm pretty sure Starmer actually cut that allowance out.
I just spent mine on guitars.
That's why he's wearing extra layers today.
Have you guys all grown up listening to metal, or did anyone start somewhere else and evolve into metal?
Well, I started with sort of like 70s glam rock, and then moved on to punk, and then moved on to metal because it was kind of like very similar. It was all guitar oriented stuff, so it's kind of he grew up listening to hip hop
and rap.
Because isn't it the same thing? I thought that was the same thing.
Yeah.
It basically is.
In the sort of late 80s, early 90s, it was the big thing. And then I was around my mate's house, and he exposed me to the likes of early Metallica. Shut up.
Careful.
He did that, and then he music. Yeah.
It was a gradual thing of.
Here's my Todger, and here's some Metallica.
early Metallica and Guns N' Roses and that, because they were the big bands at the time. And then from that, Megadeth, Slayer, Pantera.
There's always one.
Yeah. and it just...
It also was way harder back in the days because you didn't have Spotify, so finding music was a task, and I think that's why metalheads are so. It's a culture. It's not music, because in order to find you spent your entire life just finding new music.
Or you have a friend that play you something. And go,
exactly.
Oh, look, listen. I thought this is the other day. Listen to this. That's how I discovered Metallica. I went round one of my mates' houses. They said, "Oh, you got to listen to this band." I went, "Who is it?" And he showed me the cover. I was in Pride Delight. I went, "Oh." He's put it on and it's got that classical intro, and then it just kicked in. I was like, "Wow, this is like, yep."
The worst thing, of course, was when you're growing up as well. Somebody gives you a tape and they've written the wrong name of the band or song in the front of it. Because I spent a long time thinking Nirvana was Metallica.
Yep.
That was embarrassing when I realised that was the case.
Yep.
What generation of metal or rock hits hardest for you guys?
For me, it's the 80s.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I got to college where I was like, oh, I can just be free and like actually explore like the metal scene properly. Met like some lifelong friends there, introduced me to like Slayer, more sort of Maiden deep cuts, Big Four, Metallica, and all that. And then the rest was just it was pretty much an addiction from then on. I sort of never turned back after that. And the majority of what I like from those bands is the 80s stuff, because it was innovators back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas now it's kind of, don't get me wrong, there's
Hipster stuff.
loads of great talent out there, but obviously it's hard to sort of emulate what those bands did back then because it's already been done, if that makes sense.
I've hit on, when I did the interview with Doomhead in Stockholm, we did hit on that because we talked about how many subgenres there are now. And for me, generally speaking, I don't think it's a good thing when there's too many subgenres, but at the same time, it's as you said, back in the 80s, it was easier. Nobody had written any riffs, really, that were hitting like Judas Priest and what have you. They were all doing that. But then you get to a point where you can't really do any heavy metal riffs anymore, so you're going to have to change to something else, because I think music has to evolve.
Absolutely, yeah.
It does need to evolve. So even though I might not agree with all the subgenres, you couldn't just play 80s metal for 50 years, because at some point you're starting to write songs that have already been written, aren't you?
Yeah, there's only so many notes.
Eclectic mix of everything, really, make things interesting.
So even if we don't appreciate all the evolutions that have come along, it's the way forward for metal to stay alive, isn't it?
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
Anyone else get any inputs about what kind of genres or what kind of generation hits hardest?
It's more sort of mid-90s with the Slayer at their prime, Pantera at their prime, Sepultura at their prime. That was Machine Head coming
Machine Head,
out
yeah.
as well. Yeah, that it was the perfect time for metal for me. And thankfully, I got to see a lot of those bands.
I agree with you. Yeah, we've seen all those bands when they were younger, and of course we can still go and see those bands. A lot of them you can still see now, but they're much older. I remember seeing Judas Priest, 25 years ago, and fair dues, man. He's still going out there, still doing it, and for me, still hitting the notes that he needs to hit. He can't hit. It's nothing about hitting all the notes. It's the notes he needs to hit.
Exactly. Comparing
it, unfortunately, to other. I'm not going to throw any big bands out there, but we do know there are some bands that are touring that shouldn't be touring anymore. Yeah. That's just how it is, really. Right, okay, guys. If we wind back now, or we turn this mirror on you guys again as Fracture Point, okay? We touched a wee bit on how you guys became all members of the band. When exactly did that happen? When did Fracture Point start?
End of 2017, beginning of 2018.
Yeah, so it was basically, again, as we were saying, coming out of like the previous band that we were in and just sort of starting from scratch, really. Yeah.
Literally just scrapped everything that we had and start at the beginning.
Yeah, that's it. And then Adam joined us about a year later.
I got a message from Sean and the old bass players, we're all mates and everything, and saying, did I want to take his place as bass player? And straight away I was like, I don't think I'll be able to do it, but I'm happy to give it a go. And mate, I'm more than happy.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoy it.
So
2017, 18-ish. Yeah. Now, obviously, I spent some time really listening to you guys a lot, especially before the interview. And what I would say is, as a 40-something-year-old guy, okay, it was one of those things that kind of hit me like, when you're like meeting an old friend that you haven't seen for a long time, and it's like you don't realize how much you've missed that person. It's like I'm finding out something new, or sorry, should I say that I'm finding something familiar, but also something new at the same time. Do you guys understand what I mean when I listen to you guys?
Yeah, and that's a big compliment. It's like,
very humbling.
Yeah, no, because it's like we want to obviously honour our influences, but we want to do new stuff as well. Like we were talking about before, it's like you can't just sort of keep, holding on to the old stuff. Yeah.
I mean, some of the new stuff that like we've got is got a lot different to what it still sounds like it, but then it's got other like influence, like proggy kind of stuff. But thing is, I try not to write the same thing twice, because I think if I write something, I mean, I could just completely churn out new Agents of Hate all the time. That'd just be like, I could write 10 versions of that, but there's no point, because I want each song to be an individual thing and have its own impact. If it's got, if it's a bit more death metal-y, or it's a bit more proggy, or a bit more thrashy, or a bit more kind of like sludgy kind of thing, then it's what comes out. I don't sit there and force write something. It happens naturally. Whatever comes out, comes out.
Because when you mention a New Age of Hate, now obviously with everything I've listened to, and I said to you already, that is by far my favourite track that I have listened to.
Oh, nice one, mate.
And what I would say is, now listening to that, I get a little bit of an Anthrax Overkill feel. It kind of it hits me like Anthrax Overkill,
mate. When we first jamming that, it was like we called it the Slanthrax song, because it was
Player for Anthrax. I think it was the speed of it which makes me think of Overkill. I don't know how much you guys have listened to Overkill.
I have an Overkill.
So I don't know if maybe there was some Overkill in there. I got an Overkill feeling.
I'll tell you who that influence is by. That main riff in that song is basically influenced by Dark Angel, Darkness Descends. A lot of people I've forgotten about Dark Angel. Because to them it's just like, everything that's fast and 100 miles an hour is slack. No, there are other bands doing it, so maybe you need to go and kind of like investigate.
Expand your horizon.
When you're growing up listening to metal, okay, you kind of get that feeling, because we are on the outside. You feel like everyone that listens to metal, you feel like you're a group, a family almost, a brotherhood, and you have that feeling when you're younger. And what disappoints me is now when you see interviews with Slayer, and you do have Kerry King, and he's talking a lot of trash about Tom Araya. You've got things like Pantera, where you start to go back and you start reading about the turmoil, the trauma, the internal arguments that they've had with each other. It kind of hurts, doesn't it? Like, it kind of like you don't realise that at the end of the day, a lot of these big bands are a business. Most of them don't even see each other. Most of them don't even see each other.
You get to a certain level, and it becomes a business. It is business. It's not like
they tour together and then they never even see each other until they're touring the next time.
Exactly.
So I mean, I don't know what my point is directly, other than the older you get, you kind of get a little bit disappointed that it's not the fantasy world that you had when you were younger.
That's life in general. The thing is, I mean, we're a lot different, probably because we're a lot older.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember when I was in a band 25, and you just be like, exactly what you read about, there'd be arguments, and because there's a lot of testosterone flowing around, everybody wants to be top dog, and it doesn't work. But all of us would just kind of like just lay back and just get on with it. There's no kind of like, okay, we might have disagreements about silly stuff.
Primarily, we do it because we love to fucking play. There's no two ways about it. Along with all the other bands that are sort of at our level, pub level, club level, whatever else you want to call it.
It's the underground scene.
Yeah, the underground scene. We all do it because we've got this love and this passion for playing live.
Yeah.
And for me, on a personal note, there's not a feeling like it where you're playing songs that you've written. And you're playing them live, and people are going, after you finish playing. It's just like.
It's very fulfilling, but also surreal, because again, from my personal experience, only doing covers, to then people reacting in a positive way to some like weird ideas that I had that I wrote down and put to some great music. And there's something special about having it in an environment like this, for example, where we've played several times and it's always been fucking great. And having that camaraderie with the other bands, because I find that you're all in it, you're all in the same boat essentially.
seeing the music scene in London, and James and I have had a little bit of a blather about this, and you have mentioned that maybe back in the day there was a rivalry, maybe because everyone's wanting to, you know, get to a certain level at least, and maybe try to step over bands. But you guys, or what James has told me, is that actually you guys are really supporting each other. All the small bands are really trying to lift each other up.
Yeah,
so you guys go into a little bit more detail about that then.
Yeah. I mean, there's a thing we've got going, which we're part of, which is called the London Metal Coalition, or LMC for short. Currently, I think there's about 55, 60 bands involved.
Yeah, probably more at the time of this recording now.
that are all involved in this group sort of thing. When we started, there was like
about 15, maybe
20
less.
bands. So we're one of the older groups, I suppose, part of it.
Yeah, literally.
But it's great because like, there's a gig opportunity here if anybody wants to jump on and this that, and the other. And we the LMC put their own gigs on at the brewery over in
Black Horse Road.
It's great because we're all sort of helping each other out. If somebody needs, where's the best place to get stickers or patches, or where's the best place to get recording, there's always someone who goes, well, we go there, try this place, or we go there, try that place, and blah blah blah. And it's all sort of helping each other out.
It's not like a case of, what's that band doing? So everyone's all in it together. Like when someone releases their EP, you try and go down to the launch show, you give it a listen, support each other. Like we're all sort of just, doing it for the love of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, that's what we should be doing.
We're all in
anyway.
the same boat, and we're all helping each other out.
When we're at ages, as we talked about before, we're at a stage of our lives, especially in this band, where we're not like, we're going to make it to like fucking Wembley Stadium and all that shit. We're just like, this is a really nice outlet. There's stuff going on in life. You need something like that to just get it out there and enjoy it as well.
The problem is with like the music scene has changed. It's not going to go back to what it was like in the 80s and 90s, where record companies are going to chuck shitloads of money at you to go and record it out. Spend like 9 months in the studio and then thousands of you go on tour with a luxury tour bus. Those days are gone. I think some people are still trying to hold on to those preconceptions that it's going to go. It's not going to go back. It will never go back to those days. You've got to have a reality check, because I think I grew up in those days where companies would
throw money
at you to do whatever. But those days have gone now.
I think that's where it's all changed as well over the years, because obviously with the era that we all grew up, there was no internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you had to go out to Woolworths, our price.
Well, like through all the CDs and
go through everything. And the bands were getting the money from the products that you were buying.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's fine. And then you go and see them live. I mean, I remember the first gig I went to was Pantera at Brixton Academy in 1994. My first ever gig. I was 15 years old. Cost me a tenner.
Yeah. 2000, I saw them in 2011 quid.
Slayer with Machine Head supporting in 1994. Again, another tenner at Brixton Academy.
I've still got my Metallica ticket for the Master of Puppets tour at Hammersmith Odeon. A fiver. A fiver. How much is Metallica now?
The last time I saw it was 80 quid.
Oh, it was about 80 quid.
That was like 5 years ago, so it's probably gone up since then.
Yeah, it was about £5.
Was it?
I mean, I think I paid £5.50 for Master of Puppets on album when it first came out, and it's like, I've still got everything is like all up in the loft and big box.
Because everything's gone digital and everybody's streaming off Spotify, Apple Music, wherever it is that they may do, the bands aren't getting the money.
They're getting pennies.
They used to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So therefore,
now it's merchandise and touring, which is the only way to get money.
That's why the ticket prices are going so high. That's why the merchandise is going so high.
Yeah. And then we can talk about the monopoly of Live Nation, etc., but let's not do that. I feel like I kind of know what bands are influencing Fracture Point. And we talked a little bit about some of the bands, but anything that we haven't talked about, any bands that influence, even if as individuals, what bands influence you to do your type of singing, what bands influence you to do your drumming, etc., etc.
Mr. Harris.
This is hallowed ground for me. I know fucking tell you there, but Steve Harris' main inspiration. You got Lemmy and there's too many people to name, but yeah, they're the main two. There's Claypool, but I can't play like him. But
Inspiration nonetheless.
yeah.
And obviously Slayer as well. Slayer's really important to the band as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Him it is. He's the Slayer man.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was
And you were was it Death Angel or was it
Dark Angel.
Dark Angel, yeah.
The thing with me is, it's like, yes, I do like the Big Four as it's so.
The Big Four, yeah.
For me,
it's more about the Big Seven, really.
No, the Big Seven, but smaller bands that are kind of, I would say split, but if you cult bands, bands like Forbidden, Toxic, Violence. Yeah, all those. I mean, almost like the second wave of like the Bay Area stuff was.
Exodus.
Yeah, Exodus was a lot better than, when people was. I mean, I wouldn't say better, but I mean, obviously Metallica had done it first, so they are obviously going to sell a lot more stuff. But the music that came after them, to me, was a lot better. It was a lot more technical, better guitar playing, and to me, that was more interesting. It's like when you get these new bands coming out and people are just raving on about it, it's like, yeah, okay, but a lot of it is, people are going, oh, they're just hipster bands. And that's the thing. It's like, they've got big, that's the thing that I've never really liked about grunge. It was almost like when it came out, it was like magazines like Kerrang or whatever were just hyping it up, and all of a sudden, I mean, I know Nirvana have been going for a while, but all of a sudden it's like, whoop, it just exploded out of nowhere, like you've just uncorked a volcano. Yeah. And it's all of a sudden everybody else is just like, no, this is the way forward.
That's exactly the same thing. I was speaking to the band Doomherre in Stockholm. We did touch on that, actually. I brought up some of the Swedish bands that are well known. And if you take Amon Amarth, for example, they've been going since the early 90s, 95-ish. But it's really only the last 5-6 years that they've actually just won, boom, enormous now. Some of the guys that I was interviewing in Doomherre, Amon Amarth were opening for them.
Really?
Amon Amarth were opening for them. But then they stopped playing. Amon Amarth didn't stop playing.
Yeah.
And then there you go. So it's mental, isn't it? Some bands play for years and years and years, and then just out of nowhere. Huge.
I think there's hope for us yet. Then.
Right, James. The last time we had a chat, we had a little chat on TikTok, if you remember, a wee while back, and we played the track "Symbiosis," which I believe was the latest song that you guys have released. Was that right?
No, cost time.
Well, around
before the EP it was.
Before the EP it was, yeah. Because we basically did the first EP in 2022, which was Mind Affliction. Then the following year we did 2 singles, New Age of Hate and Symbiosis. We recorded them at the same time, but we released them separately. And then so then before the EP it would have been Symbiosis. So that was like the last single we released. Yeah.
The reason why I bring that up is because when I listen to all the tracks and then I go and listen to Symbiosis, it almost sounded like an Evolution track because it sounded so different than the other stuff. It was more intricate in a way. And I know you write the songs, so I might be just completely out there talking absolute shite, but I don't know. Symbiosis felt like it was almost an evolution. It felt different in a way.
But then that's probably because of what I said earlier about I don't want to repeat myself. Every song will sound it will still sound like us. Yeah. But it will have a completely different vibe.
There was some depth to it. I think there was a lot more depth to it than you maybe felt with some of the other tracks.
Yeah, because I think compared to the first EP, which I'm really proud of those songs, but because it's the first stuff we recorded together properly. Really, we actually jammed it and then we sort of left it for ages, didn't we?
We left it for a while.
We wrote it. A couple of those riffs are in different orders, and they didn't kind of work. And it's like, all right, we put that riff there and then put that one there. Then it just kind of went,
And then after that, we were like, no, we should bring this back. Like, we should. Then we were playing it regularly, and then we were like, no, we should record this because this sounds really fucking cool. And then it's basically gone down really well. We've done a video for it as well, which was really fun.
I may have had a look at that already.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. And it's usually the closer of all our gigs because it just has that kind
that song
and feel to it.
We found that song.
We did up with it last time.
We did. That was weird.
It really confused me when we opened with that. I was like, that was a quick set.
What you guys don't want to do, okay? Don't become Green Jello. I don't know if you guys remember the band Green Jello. I saw them in Sweden Rock, okay? And the first thing they come on stage and they say, right, we'll play that one song that everybody knows, and then the rest of you can all leave. You guys can all leave, and anyone that actually wants to watch us can stay. Don't become that band. They're a good band, but that is the song that everyone thinks about, isn't it? Yeah.
It's weird because when we were writing that, it was sort of like it didn't have any sort of. We just thought, oh yeah. Direction. Blah, blah, blah. It didn't have any sort of direction, and then as time went on, we gave it more thought. And it's weird how some songs you give more thought and more effort to, and other ones you just think, oh, that's just
in the bag already.
And other ones you think, well, actually, there's a bit more to this one.
Yeah.
And you can't sort of pinpoint when that's going to happen. And it sort of happened again with our latest one as well.
Yes, it did.
Where we thought, right, no, we're gonna actually sit down and think about how this one's gonna pan out.
Yeah. All the sort of stuff that we recorded, we go into it thinking, obviously we're going to record this because we personally feel like it's worth recording. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though like we love all the songs that we do, we find fun in each one of them. But I think that Symbiosis just as what you said, it sounds more dynamic maybe compared to like the.
I think that's probably an accurate description.
And so that's really nice of you to say.
But then you could say that's just a progression in the writing process.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The more stuff you do, the better you're going to get at it. I mean, obviously the early stuff was like baby steps, isn't it? It's like having a child watching them as a toddler. Watching along all of a sudden they're getting up, and the next thing they can run. So it's like that kind of process.
Next thing they're telling you to piss off.
Malicious Intent. You've got like this awesome American guy speaking at the start of that song.
Wow, that's cool.
It's actually Danish.
Danish.
I still think if you guys have placed that with a good Glaswegian accent, replace that with a Scottish guy, you'll sell some many more tracks. Give me a call, guys, next time you want
the next intro.
Sorted, yeah.
Exactly. Right, here's what I want to ask you guys individually. We'll start with Sean, okay? Your favourite Fracture Point song?
I mean, we were just talking about it. Probably Symbiosis.
Yep.
Cast the First Stone.
Cast the First Stone.
One Bad Day or Symbiosis. Both
You've got to choose one.
It's the Mark Bowden song.
Now you put me on the spot because they're all my children.
Yeah, exactly.
Pick your favourite child.
I won't say Fracture Point because it's different.
That's a good point.
Because it has a lot of different moods in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There we go. Right, let's touch on some live shows, okay? Do you guys only play in London or do you extend that range further afield?
No, we extend that range.
We especially last year we went all over the country. It was really fun. Shout out to Neil from UK Thrashers for helping sorting that out for us. Went to some brilliant venues. We went to like Oldham, we went to Nottingham, Leicester,
Birmingham.
Mansfield, Birmingham, Brighton,
Norwich.
Norwich, as well as like
Cambridge.
Cambridge, as well as here, Carlton Horses, East London, Dev, always a good place to go. So and we'll be hopefully going to
North of the border.
North of the border, A mate of mine who's Scottish really wants us to go up there. He keeps saying, "When are you guys coming up here?" So I'm like,
Who's that?
Only Scottish accent.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything internationally, I have some feeling there might have been some talks with some other bands, not having any influence in that whatsoever. Anything internationally, possibly in the water.
I mean, it'd be nice.
It's the plan.
Fingers crossed.
To break through into
East Germany.
possibly Germany, possibly Sweden.
Europe, and then even bigger. Who knows, man? 2025 is still young, boys, okay? How does 2025 look like for the band?
So we've just finished recording a new single, which will be out. We don't know yet, actually, do we? So we're just waiting for that. Shout out to Nick from Ignite AMR, who produced and recorded all our other songs and helped us sound half decent, which is nice. Just got a few more gigs in the pipeline. We've just obviously got the headline show next week at the Dev on the 21st.
The Lounge in Alton.
Dev again.
Next month, the Dev again.
Dev,
Get Heavy
Bristol.
Bristol, Thrash Zone in Bristol. That's going to be fucking amazing. Get Heavy Fest up in Newcastle.
Yeah, that's in August.
Gateshead Way. Gateshead, I think.
With Beardbow Daggins. Beardbow. Good lad.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can say about the new track that's coming out? Is there any little secrets we get, the name of it, or anything at all?
The name of it is All Outrage.
All Outrage.
All Outrage.
All Outrage. I like that already.
It's a nice, mellow, semi-acoustic sort of thing.
Is that Les Zeppelin inspired?
A barbershop. It's a barbershop quartet.
That's the one.
There's some medium harmony thrown into it.
That's the one.
All Outrage. But we don't know when it's coming out exactly.
Not yet. And also, I thought we should give a little shout out to our birthday boy / unofficial 5th member of the band, Sonny.
Yeah, Sonny, happy birthday, my man.
Who was on
the
Yeah. Who's stepped in and given us a fucking awesome
sort
of wide live sound. And he's been such a good sport. He's in Secrium as well, and they're absolutely amazing. So check them out.
Very, very good friends.
That's how it has to be.
And
hang on a minute.
And this is just what's iterating what we said about sort of helping each other out. You know? It's sort of like Sonny has sort of stepped in to sort of help us out on a live basis, despite the fact his band Secrium are doing very well. Sort of stepped in and sort of, as Sean said, our unofficial sort of 5th member.
He really is.
And he's sort of helping us out as much as we're helping him out and everything else. And it's just like one big London underground metal family. It's fucking brilliant.
Which is expanding out of London.
Yeah.
We got the
You need to rename the organisation to something else.
Well, there's also the EMC, the Essex Metal Coalition as well, which we're kind of part of, I guess, as well. Yeah, we played Chelmsford a few times, which was really cool.
Maybe become like a biker gang, maybe like the Hell
That's it. I mean, I'm sure there may be other gigs that randomly pop up, as is so often the case with this sort of thing. But yeah, just. And maybe potentially an EP at the end of the year. Who knows? Yeah.
People are looking to find you guys. Now, I do see that you do have merch, okay? If anyone wants any of your merchandise, where do they go to find that?
We've got STMS website, which has got a load of our merch.
Which you'll find on the Facebook page.
Which you'll find on the Facebook page and Instagram.
LinkTree. You guys got LinkTree?
It's all on there on the LinkTree. But we do also sell merch at our gigs, which... A lot of it is different from what you can get online.
It's more personal.
Hence the t-shirt you're wearing can only be got at gigs. That particular t-shirt.
So get yourself down there.
To a gig.
I didn't have to go to a gig, man, so I'm pretty chuffed, man. You know.
You live miles away, that's fine.
Just a couple of miles away.
Yeah, there's mugs on there and
tote bags.
Tote bags. If
not underwear yet, though.
Not yet. We haven't got a fracture point thong as of yet.
It'll be the first one to motivate.
And then that video gets put on the OnlyFans, is that right?
Yeah. Exactly right.
That's up and coming. That one.
Up and coming. People that want to see you guys live, I know we've talked a little bit about all the different dates and stuff. I'm sure that nobody has time to listen to all that and figure out where they can see you. It is available on a website. Where can they see where you're playing?
Facebook, Instagram.
And sometimes Spotify shows like, where's the latest show that you're doing? So check Spotify out as well. But
general social media.
Facebook and Instagram is probably the best way to find out.
I'll fire your link tree on the description of this video anyway, so that's fine.
Thank you very much.
Now, guys, you guys love to talk, okay? I'm going to ask you one question. Try and keep the answer relatively short, okay? Guys, this is going to be my last question. Next 5 to 10 years, where will Fracture Point be if we say 5 years from now? Where do you want to see the band? Start with Sean. You have 30 seconds for each person to answer.
All of us still having fun.
Still having fun. So fun is the key thing about the band more than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. James boy,
enjoying it. Hopefully breaking sort of or playing Europe. A handful of times in this area. That'd be great.
Yeah, man. Getting out further afield.
So it's the same as James.
Spread our influence, mate.
Just spread the influence, yeah. Spread the disease.
These fuckers have learnt the songs.
And you obviously being the old, you're just hoping to still be alive as well. I think you have. If you ever do come to Sweden, guys, you know that I will be at the gig, guaranteed.
You better be at the front.
And if ever I get over here, not that I really fancy coming to London. Tell you what, if you play north of the border, I'll come to one of those shows, man.
Yeah.
You guys have been fantastic. I'm not going to ask you any more questions because we don't have this
4 hours.
It's time for me to get murdered anyway now. I'm sure all the weapons are just lying at the back of that man. Oh, here we go. He's off to get one, man. He just wants some Scottish beef, man. That's what it is.
Angus.
With the Glasgow Angus. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you. I'll get a hug as well, man.
You are, mate. Bring it in.
Bring it in. All the microphone is going to catch all the. All right, your beer. Oh, I get a hug and a kiss. Right, then over now. This is the Music Militia. These idiots behind me, these guys are Fracture Point. Go and check them out, man. You couldn't get a more crazy English band. I thought Scottish people were mental. Apparently, I was wrong. Guys, have a good one.
I really need a piss.
School. Parasitic narcissist.
You're watching the Music Militia.